Today we will be going over how to multiply numbers using long multiplication. Let's start with the problem 25 times 3. Just like we've done before, we could start by multiplying 3 times 5. 3 times 5 equals what? Well, 3 times 5 equals 15. But this is where things get tricky. We don't want to write 15 like this. Instead, similar to what we do during long addition, we can carry the 1 in 15 up above, like this. We call this process regrouping. Now that we've regrouped, we can keep moving. The next thing we want to do is 3 times 2. But while we know 3 times 2 equals 6, we can't forget about this 1 that we just regrouped. If we take 6 and we add that 1, we get 7. And so what we put down below is the 7. The answer to 25 times 3 is 75. Let's try one together. Let's multiply 27 times 3. What should I do first? Yes, you start with 3 times 7, which equals 21. But make sure you don't write 21 like this. Instead, regroup that 2 up above. Now what should I do next? Well, next you should multiply 3 times 2 to get 6. But don't forget the 2 that you regrouped and add it in. So 6 plus 2 equals 8. What you need to put below is an 8. 27 times 3 equals 81. Now let's do this with a larger number. Let's multiply 147 times 5. We'll start just the same. 5 times 7 is 35. And we know to write the 3 in 35 up above. Then we want to multiply 5 times 4. We know 5 times 4 is 20. And when you add up the 3 in top, you get 23. We could write 23 just like this. The 2 is on top and the 3 is on bottom. And then we can keep moving. 5 times 1 we know is 5. But don't forget to add in the 2 up above, and 5 plus 2 gives us 7. 147 times 5 equals 735. Now you try one. Let's multiply 276 times 3. We start by doing 3 times 6 to get 18, but how do you write 18? Yes, you need to put the 8 on the bottom, but the 1 up on top. Now we can keep going and do 3 times 7 to get 21. But what do we have to remember? Don't forget that 1 on top. So take your 21 and add 1 to get 22. Now the way we write this is the 2 on top and the 2 on bottom. Now what is the last digit I should put down here? Well, make sure you multiply 3 times 2 to get 6, and then add in those 2 up above to get 8. 276 times 3 equals 828. Now let's move on to our biggest problem of the day. Let's multiply 1,453 times 5. Like usual, we'll start with 5 times 3 equals 15. And we write the 1 on top and the 5 on the bottom. Then what should be the next digit that I put right here? Well, you should have multiplied 5 times 5 gives you 25. And then the 25 plus the 1 on top gives you 26. Now, what is the next digit? Well, you should multiply 5 times 4 to get 20, and then add in the 2 on top. 20 plus 2 is 22. Now, what's the last digit I should put down? Well, you should multiply 5 times 1 gives you 5, and then when you add in the 2 above, 5 plus 2 gives you 7. 1,453 times 5 gives you 7,265. Now that you can multiply, it's time for a brain check. What is 295 times 3? Solve this on your own. Well, you start with 3 times 5 and get 15. Then 3 times 9 gives you 27. With the 1 on top, you get 28. Then 3 times 2 gives you 6, but 6 plus the 2 on top gives you 8. 295 times 3 equals 885. Last problem for today. Let's multiply 2,764 times 3. We'll start with your 3 times 4 to get 12. Then 3 times 6 is 18, plus the 1 is 19. You keep moving. 3 times 7 is 21, plus the 1 is 22. And finally, 3 times 2 is 6, plus the 2 on top is 8. 2,764 times 3 is 8,292. And that's all for today.